This happened a few months ago, during the late nights when I was driving for my rideshare job. I'm 34 and have done this for a while, mostly to cover my bills. On typical nights, I'd accept rides without a second thought, but something felt off lately. I remember this one night. It started out like any other. I pulled up to a diner and waited for my next request. I've never stopped thinking about what happened after that. I received a ping for a pickup just a few blocks away. The streets were quiet under the dim glow of the streetlights. I drove there, and my heart sank when I saw her, my passenger. She looked tense, glancing over her shoulder as if she expected someone to jump out at her. I tried to ask if she was okay, but she gripped the door handle, her knuckles white. "You're a rideshare driver, right?" she asked, her voice shaky. I nodded. I could feel my pulse quickening. Maybe I wasn't really ready for what she was about to say. "Just drive. Please avoid Oak Street. There are bad drivers down that way," she pleaded, staring straight ahead. I didn't think much of it at the time. I shrugged it off, driving towards her destination. The further we went, the more I noticed her glancing out the windows, her breath coming in panicked bursts. "Everything okay?" I asked, concerned. She shook her head. "They disappear," she murmured, almost to herself. That ride ended, and I dropped her off, but it stuck with me. Like an itch I couldn't scratch, I couldn't shake it. I started to see strange things after that. A week later, I picked up a man who didn't say a word, just stared outside. "Where to?" I asked, trying to break the silence. He didn't answer. I looked at him in the rearview mirror. He shifted in his seat, and for a moment I thought he'd speak. Instead, he murmured a riddle. What has keys but can't open locks? I felt the hairs on my neck stand up. I turned back to the road, feeling uneasy. He got out, and I replayed his words in my head, searching for meaning. I felt pulled into a strange web of confusion. Later that night, I had another strange encounter. A child appeared in the back seat. I could hardly believe my eyes. One moment I was driving, the next I turned around to ask him where he lived. He was gone, just like that. I started making calls, receiving strange texts from numbers I didn't recognize, saying to watch the roads. I didn't know what they were talking about. Maybe it was all in my head. One night, I picked up a woman who looked fine at first, but halfway through the ride, she leaned in close and whispered, "You need to be careful. They're coming for you." I felt cold ice run through me. The unnerving feeling grew with each ride. I glanced into my rearview mirror one last time. I swear I saw headlights following me closely, but when I turned to look, nothing was there. Then it happened. A voice echoed from nowhere. "Why are you running?" I turned around, but nobody was there, just the empty seat behind me. I gripped the steering wheel. I had to drive, but now I had no idea where to go. I didn't know what to expect next. My mind was racing as I continued to drive aimlessly. The streets around me blurred in a haze of shadows and light. In my gut, I felt something sinister. I couldn't shake the feeling that some unseen force was watching, waiting for the right moment. I spotted a gas station up ahead, its flickering neon sign offering a moment of comfort. I pulled in, hoping to collect my thoughts. The fluorescent lights buzzed above me, casting a sterile glow across the pavement. I parked and took a breath. I needed to figure out what was happening. As I leaned against my car, I noticed a figure in the distance. A man was standing by the pumps, facing away from me. His clothes were dark, blending in with the night. As I watched, he turned just enough for me to see his face. A grim expression etched into his features. Something about him felt familiar. I shook my head, trying to clear my thoughts. Just then, my phone buzzed in my pocket. A text from an unknown number appeared on the screen. "Watch your mirrors. They'll be coming." My heart raced again. Who was sending this? What were they warning me about? I quickly glanced around, but the man was gone. I pushed the thoughts aside, trying to focus. I needed to get back on the road, away from this place. As I started the car, I hesitated. taking a moment to adjust the mirrors. That's when I saw it, a glint of light in my side mirror. I turned to look, but it was just the moonlight reflecting off an empty car parked a few spaces away. I shook my head in frustration. "Get yourself together," I muttered. The eerie encounters were messing with my mind. I decided to head back into town, hoping I wouldn't encounter anything strange. As I made my way to the main road, I felt a sense of urgency. I needed to get home, to something familiar. But as I started driving, I noticed shadows darting at the edge of my vision. I glanced again into the rearview mirror and froze. There was a car following me, only a few feet behind. Its headlights didn't seem to illuminate the road ahead. They flickered, now bright, now dim, almost as if there was something wrong with the vehicle. I pressed the gas pedal to the floor, hoping to lose them. My heart raced, pounding in my chest. This couldn't be happening. I veered onto a side street, but the car stayed right on mine. Tail, like a predator stalking its prey. I felt a wave of panic wash over me. Thoughts raced through my mind. What if this was it? What if I really was running from something? Suddenly, a shadow rushed past my window, and I couldn't identify what I saw. Then, everything went dark. My headlights cut out. Panic surged as I hit the brakes, trying to stay calm. But my car skidded to a stop in the dead of night. I was surrounded by darkness. Just as I fumbled for my phone, still scanning the rearview mirror, I heard a voice, deep and distorted, echoing from behind me. "Why did you leave?" Staring into the void of the back seat, I understood. This was no ordinary night. I was in the middle of something much larger than myself. The voice hung heavy in the air, wrapping around me like a cold blanket. I felt my heart thunder in my chest, an instinctual warning clamoring for attention. I twisted in my seat, trying to see who or what had spoken. My breath came in quick, frantic gasps. "Hello?" I called out, my voice shaky. The darkness in the car felt alive, pressing in on me. No answer, just the rustling sound of the night. I reached for my phone, praying the screen would provide some illumination. Swiping it on, I glanced at the time, 12:45 a.m. My fingers trembled as I scanned the area. All I could see was the tree line pressing in on both sides of the road. Panic surged again. I was completely isolated. That's when I heard it, a soft thud, like footsteps crunching on gravel. My eyes snapped to the rearview mirror, just as the shadows from the trees shifted, almost as if they were closing in. I was not alone. I turned the key again, but the car sputtered and died. I felt a wave of despair flood over me. "Come on, please," I pleaded with the engine, but my words were met with silence. My fingers danced over the steering wheel, considering my options. I had to leave the car. Then I heard the voice again, closer this time. "You shouldn't have left." I jumped. My hands flew to the door handle. I had to get out. I swung the door open and hit the ground running, my shoes crunching against the gravel. I didn't look back. I ran toward the safety of the trees, hoping to hide in the shadows. As I stumbled deeper into the forest, I heard the engine come back to life behind me, sputtering and coughing. But it held a different sound now, almost like it was laughing. The laughter sent chills down my spine. I stumbled past low branches and thick underbrush, desperately trying to look over my shoulder, but the darkness swallowed everything. I froze when I spotted a flicker of light ahead, a small clearing. I dashed toward it, hoping it would be some kind of refuge. As I emerged into the light, the sight hit me like a punch to the gut. An old truck sat idling, its faint glow revealing the figure of a man leaning against it. "Help me!" I gasped, stumbling forward. He turned, and I froze, recognizing his face. It was the same grim expression I had seen at the gas station. "What are you doing here?" he asked, his tone dripping with disdain. "You weren't supposed to leave." Then I noticed the shadows slithering around his feet, dark and animated. They coiled like snakes, drawing closer to me. "It's not safe." I took a step back, instinct kicking in. "We have to go." He shook his head slowly. "You've opened something you don't understand. They're coming for you." Fear erupted within me, pushing me to turn and run again. But the shadows were faster. I felt something grab my ankle, pulling me backward. That's when a realization struck me. I wasn't just being watched, I was being hunted. As I struggled against the grip, I caught one last glimpse of the man's face, and it twisted into a grin. "You can't escape," he called out, laughter echoing in the night as darkness engulfed me. Just before I succumbed to the shadows, I blinked hard. Maybe, just maybe, I could still find a way out. I felt the shadows tighten around me, their cold grip relentless. Just when I thought I was lost to the darkness, a sudden jolt pulled me back. I blinked again, and the grip on my ankle vanished. I tumbled forward into the clearing, gasping for breath as I scrambled to my feet. The truck was still there, the man leaning against it as if nothing had happened. But I could see the shadows pulsing beneath him, shadowy fingers reaching out, as if beckoning me to return. My instincts screamed to flee, but a wild curiosity held me back. "What are you?" I whispered, anxiety tightening my throat. "You're asking the wrong question," he replied, his eyes glinting in the low light. There was something unsettling about his smile, as if he reveled in my confusion. "Instead, you should be asking how to survive." "Survive?" I echoed, the word tasting bitter on my tongue. "From what?" He pushed himself off the truck and took a step closer. "From them, the ones you awakened." My heart raced again, the weight of his words pressing down hard. "I didn't do anything. I just came to this place." He tilted his head mockingly. "And yet, here you are. The forest doesn't like outsiders." I took a step back, my pulse quickening. If I was to survive, I needed answers. I forced myself to sound strong. "What do you know about them? How can I stop them?" His expression darkened. "You can't stop what's already in motion." He glanced over his shoulder as if sensing something. "You need to get out of here, now." Before I could process his words, a rustling noise echoed from the trees behind him. A low growl rumbled, cutting through the night air. I felt a chill race up my spine. Just then, shadows revealed themselves, creeping towards us from every direction, dark limbs stretching like claws. "Get in the truck!" he shouted, breaking into a run. I hesitated for a heartbeat before I followed, diving into the passenger seat as he leapt into the driver's side. The engine roared to life, louder than the growling outside. My heart raced as he slammed the gas pedal, shooting us into the darkness. I glanced back through the rear window, and the shadows began to chase us, swirling into a maelstrom of darkness, their whispers carrying promises of dread. "Why are they after me?" I gasped, gripping the edge of my seat. "What did I do?" "They don't need a reason." His face was tense, focusing on the road ahead. "Once you're marked, you're theirs." The weight of his words settled heavily in the air, and I found myself sinking deeper into fear. They were mechanics of the shadows, relentless and unforgiving. Then, everything changed. The truck suddenly jolted, sputtering, losing speed. Flickers of darkness danced by the headlights, the figures in the trees growing closer. "Hold on!" he shouted, slamming the wheel to the left. The truck veered off the road, tires skidding over mud. As the brakes screeched and we spun to a stop, I felt a fresh wave of terror. "What now?" I shouted, panic rising in my voice. That! He pointed forward, and my breath caught in my throat. That's when I saw it, an ancient stone altar right in front of us. Etched with strange symbols, it pulsed with a faint light. The shadows circled it, as if drawn to the source of their power. "What is that?" I whispered, fear washing over me. He didn't answer. The shadows were closing in, and I realized time was running out. We had to make a choice. Would we confront whatever darkness lay ahead, or try to escape this nightmare? The stillness in the air grew heavier, the low hum of the shadows drawing in closer. I could feel their presence like a weight on my chest, pressing and relentless. My mind raced. "We can't just sit here," I blurted out. The man shot me a look, his jaw set tight. "Stay in the truck," he hissed, gripping the steering wheel as the shadows crawled toward us. Each flicker of light from the altar cast ominous shapes against the trees. "No," I said, shaking my head. "If those things want me, we need to do something." I scanned the altar, something tugging at parts of my memory. I took a deep breath, resolved to act. "What if it can help us? We've got nothing else." He hesitated, glancing between me and the gathering darkness. "You're not serious? Better than doing nothing," I argued, the shadows closing in. I felt a surge of desperation. "Fine," he cursed under his breath, "but stick close." We bolted. From the truck, our feet pounding against the ground as we sprinted toward the altar. The shadows hissed, the sound like 1,000 whispers. They quickened, eager to reclaim what they believed belonged to them. As we neared the altar, the energy around it intensified. The symbols shimmered, bathing the clearing in an eerie light. I felt drawn to it, the pulsing light almost like a lifeline. "What do we do?" I shouted, looking back at him. "Touch it!" he yelled, his voice cutting through the chaos. "Touch it?" My mind screamed with uncertainty, but there was no time. I reached out, fingers grazing the cold stone. The moment I did, a shock waved through me, a surge of warmth that contrasted the chill of the shadows. For a split second, the world around us stood still. Shadows faltered, their grasp loosening as I felt energy outpouring from the altar. I whirled back to him, eyes wide. "I think it's working." But just as hope flickered bright, a new sound erupted, the unmistakable howl of a creature. My blood ran cold. The shadows lurched, shifting, morphing into a shape that I couldn't comprehend. It rose above us, towering and monstrous, its eyes distant but luminous, filled with hunger. "Oh my God," I gasped, stumbling back. The momentary relief faded like smoke as I faced the creature born from the darkness. "Get back!" he yelled, pulling me away from the altar. But it was too late. The shadows surged forward, summoned by their master. "Stay close to me," he commanded, backing toward the truck. I didn't know what we could do against whatever that was, but retreating felt like a defeat. I spied the altar, still glowing, as if it had more to give. "What if it can contain them?" I said, desperation spilling from my lips. "We have to channel whatever power is there." He looked torn, glancing between the altar and the advancing darkness. "We don't have time. We need a plan." But the shadows were advancing too fast. The creature's howl echoed, sending tremors through my bones. In that moment, an idea sparked, both terrifying and hopeful. If I could tap into the energy I felt, "We have to combine our strength," I shouted. "What? That's insane!" "Do you want to end up as their next meal?" I countered, my heart racing as the dark figure loomed closer. "Fine," he shouted, "on 3. I took a deep breath, adrenaline rushing. 1, 2, then everything erupted. A blinding flash of light erupted from the altar. The shadows screamed, writhing with fury. My muscles tensed. This was it. I needed to make this count. I realized something crucial just then. What would happen if we failed? Would we become part of the darkness? Just another set of shadows? I gripped his hand tightly. Whatever happens, we're in this together. The moment we shouted, "3," the energy surged through us. But the darkness shifted, an unexpected force spilling out from the shadows. And then, it happened. Blackness swept over us, swallowing the light whole. Everything went dark. I blinked into the blackness, but there was nothing. No light, no sound, just an overwhelming weight that pressed against me. It felt like I was floating in an abyss, swallowed whole by something I couldn't comprehend. My heart raced in my chest, each thump echoing in the silence. Suddenly, a flicker of light pierced through the darkness, sharp and bright. I squinted against it, holding my breath. The light grew, illuminating a small space around me. I saw him, saved from the shadows, and he looked just as bewildered as I felt. "Are you okay?" I croaked, my voice breaking the stillness. He nodded, but his eyes were widened in fear. "I think we're somewhere else." The surroundings began to come into focus. We stood on a patch of ground, but it wasn't the altar anymore. The air felt electric, charged with an energy that made my skin tingle. Wisps of shadow curled around us, darting back and forth as if they were assessing their prey. "It's like we're in a tunnel," I whispered, peering into the darkness beyond our small circle of light. I felt disoriented, my surroundings shifting, almost like a dream. His voice was low, barely a tremor in the air. "We've been pulled into some kind of another dimension or something." My stomach dropped. Another dimension? What does that even mean? What if we can't get back? A soft growl echoed in the distance, and my spine tingled. It was faint, but unmistakably alive. "Whatever we did," he urged, "we need to reverse it." He looked down at my still clasped hand. "I don't know how much power that altar had, but it might be our only way out." I felt the weight of his grip reassuring, but I couldn't shake the fear that had seeped into my bones. But how? I don't know. Maybe if we can find a way to channel that energy again? He looked around, as if the answer was waiting in the shadows. The growl returned, closer this time, and I felt a shiver of dread crawl up my spine. "We don't have time to figure it out here," I whispered, peering into the shadows. "We need to move." He released my hand and stepped ahead, eyes darting through the dark. "Stick close. If something comes for us, we can't be separated." I nodded, but unease gripped me. The air felt heavier now, electric with an undercurrent of danger. Shadows flickered just beyond our reach, teasing at the edges of perception. They whispered promises of fear, twisting and contorting like hands reaching to drag us back. We navigated the disorienting space, moving forward with cautious steps. Every time the growl erupted, it sent me jumping, instinctively drawing closer to him. I could feel something watching us, something far worse lurking just out of sight. "What happens if we can't reverse it?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. He turned. Then, his expression desperate. "Then we'll have to fight whatever's here. We can't let them take us." Just then, something shifted in the shadows, and I froze. A pair of glowing eyes blinked open, watching us curiously. A low rumble of impatience resonated from the darkness, and I felt like prey. "Run!" he shouted, sensing the change before I did. We took off, adrenaline pulsing in my veins, the glowing eyes following as we sprinted deeper into the shadows. But there was nowhere safe. My heart raced, thoughts colliding in my mind. What was this place? Then, everything shifted again. That's when I saw it, an altar, just like the one before, flickering with cobalt light and etched in shimmering symbols. Hope surged in my chest, but could it help us again? My breath caught as I approached the altar. The cobalt light pulsed rhythmically, casting shadows that danced wildly around us. I could feel the energy radiating from it, almost calling to me. "Do you see that?" I asked, pointing at the altar.
His eyes widened, both in astonishment and anxiety. Maybe it's like the first one, if we can activate it again. His voice trailed off, but a flicker of hope glimmered there. Before I could respond, another growl resonated, deep and guttural. The glowing eyes we had seen before shifted, and I could make out the shape looming just outside the light's reach. A massive, shadowy form that seemed to flow and merge with the darkness. It was unlike anything I had ever seen. "We need to hurry," he urged, already moving toward the altar. I followed, panic surging through me. The growl intensified, echoing off the walls of this strange dimension. He reached the altar first, stretching out a hand. "Can you feel the energy?" he asked, glancing back at me. I hesitated before stepping closer. The sensation was overwhelming me. The air tingled like static, and my skin prickled as I approached. "Just like before, we need to concentrate," he said, determination etched on his face. The glow seemed to respond, pulsing in time with our heartbeats. I felt the heat radiating from it, pulling me in. I reached out alongside him, our fingers nearly touching the surface. Just as we were about to make contact, a crash echoed behind us. The shadow creature lunged, breaking through the barrier of light with speed I hadn't expected. "Now!" he shouted, and we pressed our hands onto the altar. The energy surged, a rush of power that shot through me, electric and blinding. For a moment, everything seemed to freeze. I felt weightless, the darkness swirling around us. Then, the altar erupted into a shower of light. Symbols flared and streamed with energy, wrapping around us like vines. But the creature wasn't finished. It shrieked in a mix of fury and hunger. I could see its teeth now, jagged and glimmering in the wild light. "Fight it off!" he yelled, eyes wide in fear. I pushed against the energy, willing it to hold, harnessing all the emotion inside me, terror, desperation, and a flicker of hope. The light expanded, pushing against the dark. I felt a tug at my heart, as if it was trying to pull me in, but I held on to the altar, focusing on the warmth. Suddenly, a sudden crack echoed through the space, splintering the dark with a brilliant flash. I screamed as pain shot through my body, a jolt like lightning, and in that moment, I understood. The balance of light and dark was on a knife's edge. If we lost this connection, we would be consumed by whatever loomed behind us. Just as fear threatened to swallow me whole, a voice broke through the chaos. "Channel the fear! Use it!" he shouted, and I was reminded of everything that had brought me here. I took a deep breath, letting the fear flow through me, molding it instead into strength. The light blazed brighter, and I could feel the shadows retreating, but it wasn't enough. I had to do more. "We can't just push it back," I said, my voice steady against the roar of the creature. "We need to—" But before I could finish, the altar blazed white hot, illuminating everything. A chance flared like a dying star, but in that moment, I realized we only had seconds left. "Together!" I shouted, the weight of our fear and resolve binding us. We both shouted, "Send us home!" And just like that, the world shifted once more. I blinked, and suddenly, everything changed. The cacophony of growls and light dissolved into an eerie silence. I felt a hard surface beneath my feet, and the warm light faded to a dim glow. My heart raced as I looked around. "We did it?" I whispered, not sure if I wanted to believe it. The altar was gone, replaced by an empty expanse dotted with strange flickering lights. It felt as if we had slipped into a different realm, one that was less menacing, but equally unsettling. He stood beside me, breathless and wide-eyed. "I think so." He looked in every direction, scanning for danger. But where are we? The air was thick with tension, and I felt an awkward mix of relief and dread. Did we really escape, or had we just entered another trap? I swallowed, trying to ignore the unease creeping in again. Then I heard it, an echoing crash in the distance. I turned to look, but all I could see was darkness gathering at the edges of the glow around us. The shadows were different now, shifting like liquid, without form or substance. "Maybe we're safe," he said, though his voice betrayed doubt. "Do you really think so?" I shot back, feeling adrenaline rise again. "We just escaped something, and now we're where?" That was when I noticed something moving. Near the edge where the darkness mingled with light, a figure stepped forward. It was shambling, hunched over, and cloaked in tattered rags that hung loosely off its skeletal frame. I squinted, my heart pounding. "What is that?" I whispered. I don't know," he replied, trembling. The figure paused and tilted its head, its face obscured. My instincts screamed at me to run, but my feet felt rooted to the ground. When it stepped closer, I could see its eyes, two hollow pits glowing with a faint luminescence. I glanced at him, and panic set in. "We need to go, now!" But the figure raised a skeletal hand. "No need to hurry." Its voice was a raspy whisper, echoing with a myriad of other voices blending into a chilling chorus. "You wish to return? The path is dark, but we can show you." "What do you mean?" I asked, determined not to be lured by its invitation. "Each step brings you closer," it rasped, inching nearer. I could see now that it was not one being, but an amalgamation of shadows, shifting and distorting, like pieces of a puzzle that didn't fit together. "Get back!" he shouted, stepping in front of me. The creature let out a low, unsettling laugh. "You think you're safe," it taunted. "You've crossed boundaries you don't understand. The veil is fragile." I could feel the weight of its words. In the back of my mind, I wondered if we had inadvertently set something into motion that couldn't be undone. The world felt unsteady, like the ground beneath was shaking. "We don't want anything from you," I yelled back, the defiance warring with the rising fear inside me. Suddenly, without warning, the darkness behind the figure surged. Shadows twisted and grew, reaching for us. Panic set in again. "Run!" I screamed, yanking at his arm. We sprinted through the strange, luminescent terrain, the whispers of the figure fading behind us, but the darkness chased closely, eager to swallow us whole. I couldn't shake the feeling that the true danger had just begun. Then, through the chaos, I spotted something glimmering, a doorway framed by shimmering light just beyond our reach. I felt a spark of hope rise within me, but as the shadows crawled closer, I knew time was running out. "Over there!" I shouted, pointing. But just as we turned to run for the light, the ground rumbled beneath us, and the shadows contorted, changing shape. I felt a chill creep up my spine. Something else was coming, something worse than what we had faced before. "Stay close," I urged, desperation clawing at my throat. We lunged for the doorway, not even knowing if it was our way out, but hoping for the best. And with every frantic step, I felt that fear clawing at my insides. What if this was only the beginning of the darkness? The doorway shimmered like a mirage, and I pushed forward with everything I had. The light was just ahead, but the shadows lurked closer, elongating and reaching for us. My feet pounded against the ground, urgency fueling my every move. "Don't look back!" he yelled. His voice strained. I could hear the rasp of breath as he fought to keep pace with me. The gleaming entrance was almost within reach, a tangible promise, and yet it taunted us, growing distant as the ground trembled beneath us. "Faster!" I urged, glancing sideways. The darkness behind us twisted into grotesque shapes, figures that mocked our desperation with every lurch. They were not of this realm. They belonged to a nightmare. But then, just as I thought we'd made it, the ground beneath me cracked. I felt it shift, a yawning chasm threatening to open up. The light swirled, flickering around the edges, mocking the safety I craved. "Jump!" he shouted, pushing me forward. Without thinking, I leaped into the glow. I landed hard, tumbling to a stop. When I opened my eyes, I found myself sprawled on the other side of the threshold. He landed beside me, hitting the ground with a thud. I scrambled to my feet, adrenaline coursing through me. We had made it, but it didn't feel right. The air here was heavy with an acrid, metallic scent. The light around us was less comforting. It flickered in shades of red and green, casting unsettling shadows that danced against crumbling walls. I turned in circles, trying to figure out where we were. Was this still the same realm? "I don't like this," he mumbled, taking a step closer. "What if we didn't escape? What if we just ended up somewhere worse?" A low humming filled the air, a sound that vibrated beneath my skin, sending a shiver down my spine. It felt alive, like a heartbeat echoing through the void. I paused, focusing on the noise. It came from somewhere deeper within this strange place. "Do you hear that?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. He nodded, looking around warily. "Yeah, it sounds like it's calling us." I swallowed hard. We shouldn't follow it. It could be a trap, just like the last place. But curiosity tugged at me, and I felt drawn to the sound. Against my better judgment, I started walking toward it, just to get closer, just to see. Suddenly, the ground trembled again, and the walls around us began to shift. A door opened in the far distance, revealing a figure obscured in shadows, silently watching us. It stood still, but I sensed an energy that made the hair on my arms stand on end. "Who is that?" he whispered, eyes wide with fear. I didn't know, but my instincts screamed at me to run again. "We need to go," I said, turning back to where we had landed. But the path we had taken flickered ominously, the light dimming as if it had been snuffed out. Panic rose in my chest, realizing we were losing our way. That was when the humming escalated into a strident wail, piercing through the darkness. A gust of wind rushed past us, carrying whispers that flowed like smoke. I felt an insidious presence creeping closer. Someone was watching us. "Stay behind me," I murmured, adrenaline pumping through my veins. We needed to keep moving before whatever that thing was got too close. As we edged forward, the shadows began to swirl, forming shapes that seemed to beckon us deeper into their realm. I could feel their hunger, the desire to pull us in. The figure in the doorway vanished in an instant, leaving nothing behind except looming shadows. "We need to decide what to do," I said, voice steady even as my heart raced. "But we have to choose quickly." Then I felt it, a cold knot of fear uncoiling in my gut. That presence, that figure, was still here, lurking just out of sight, and we were running out of time. I don't know how long we stood there, paralyzed between the looming shadows and the void I could sense swelling behind us. "We can't stay here," I whispered, my voice tearing through the thick silence. "They're going to realize we're lost. We need to choose now." He took one shuddering breath, eyes darting from the gathering shadows to the echoing void. "But which way? We don't know what's ahead." My gut twisted. I'd rather face the unknown than let whatever that is catch up to us. Desperation clawed at my insides as I noticed the shadows flicker towards us, sensing our hesitation. "We can't let them decide for us." Okay, he nodded, swallowing hard. It wasn't bravery that held us here, it was survival instinct. "Let's just go, stick close." We moved forward, stepping into the shifting world beyond our little pool of light. With every footfall, the atmosphere thickened, the shadows curving and twisting at the edges, beckoning, taunting. They whispered a dark lullaby that seemed to call out to the deepest corners of my mind. We're running out of time, he urged, his voice low but urgent. We pressed on, the dim light leading us forward, but I felt the ground shift beneath our feet as if it wanted to pull us back. My heart raced, every instinct screaming to turn and run. From somewhere deep in the churning mass of shadows, I heard that chilling growl again, closer now, reverberating in my chest like thunder. There, I pointed ahead, where a faint outline of another light flickered, uncertain but bright. It could be another way out. He nodded, determination set in his jaw. We picked up speed, dashing towards the light, the echoes of our footsteps swallowed by the encroaching darkness. Behind us, another wail erupted, sharper and more desperate than the last. As we neared the light, I could see it took on new form, a dilapidated doorway framed in light that felt alive. With every step, I felt the weight of the darkness pulling me back. "Don't stop," I urged, lungs burning. Just as we were about to reach the doorway, the shadows bolted forward. Panic surged within me, a desperate need to breach the sanctuary
of light before I was swallowed whole. I glanced back. The heart of the shadows was coalescing, forming a singular mass, dark and grotesque. "Go! I'll hold them off!" he shouted, spinning around. "No!" I screamed, but he pushed me forward, his resolve fierce, his back to me. The doorway shimmered, just a breath away, but the creature surged, swallowing him up in a wave of darkness. I felt my heart fracture. I turned, grasping the doorframe, uncertainty clashing with my instincts. "You can't," I pleaded, but he held his ground, bracing against the approaching shadows. "Just go, trust me," he yelled as the creature slipped around him, clawing at the space between us. A surge of heat rippled through me, and in that moment of decision, I leaped into the doorway, charging into the light without looking back. I shut my eyes tight as the shadows surged towards me, engulfing the gap I'd left behind. Then, silence. I blinked against the brilliance. The air felt crisp as it wrapped around me like a cloak. I staggered, disoriented, only to find myself standing in a very familiar place, my driver's seat. The late-night diner loomed outside, the neon lights flickering against the night. I was back, but it felt wrong, like something fundamental had shifted beneath reality. I glanced around wildly, expecting to find him slipping through the shadows behind me, but the cab was empty. There was no one but me. The familiar hum of the city returned, but it felt hollow. I grabbed my phone, heart racing, and opened my texts. Just a jumble of normal messages. But as I scrolled, I found it. An unfamiliar number again, a single text. "You chose poorly." Frustration coiled within, heavier than before. Had it all been real, or some fever dream brought on by the stress of late nights? Had I really escaped? The chill prickled over me, and doubts crept into my mind. Was he trapped in that darkness for good? I stepped out of the car and nearly jumped at the sound of a child's laughter close by. I turned, but saw nothing out of the ordinary, just the remnants of a quiet street, the sense of something, someone, slipping by. 3 weeks later, I transferred to a different city. Sometimes, when it's quiet, I still hear echoes of shadows in my dreams. They whisper promises of fear and dread, and I can't shake the feeling that some pieces are still missing. I wonder if I'll ever go back, or if I ever should. Sometimes at night, when I sit in my new apartment, a text from an unknown number will light up my phone, the jarring notification breaking the stillness. I don't open them, I just let them be. Because deep down, I know things might never settle. The darkness is patient, and who knows what might be waiting for me in the shadows just outside the light.